Merrick Garland, the radical and now we learn corrupt Attorney General of the United States, went to Capitol Hill today. He defended his memo, his obscene, unprecedented memo, calling on parents who are mad at school curriculums that their children are being forced to imbibe, calling those people terrorists. At one point, Congressman Mike Johnson of Louisiana asked Garland about the company that his son-in-law runs. It's called Panorama Education. Panorama makes a ton of money pushing racist propaganda, the kind that parents are complaining about. That sounds like a conflict of interest. Is it not? Here's how Merrick Garland responded.
Did you have the appropriate agency ethic official look into this? Did you seek guidance as the federal regulation requires?
This memorandum is aimed at violence and threats of violence.
I understand that, but did you seek, did you seek ethics counsel before you issued a letter that directly relates to the financial interest of your family? Yes or no?
This memorandum does not relate to the financial interests of anyone. It's against.
I take that as a no. Mr. Attorney General, will you commit to having the appropriate ethics designee review the case and make the results public?
This memorandum is aimed at violence and threats of violence.
I understand your talking point. You're not answering my question.
What a repulsive little sleazeball that guy is. He's sick to the FBI on people who criticized his family's business. He sicked the FBI on people who criticized his family's business. That's what he did. And he won't even admit it. Asra Nomani is with the group Parents Defending Education. The group just released a woke consultant report card that reveals that Panorama Education received millions of dollars from public schools. Asra Nomani joins us tonight. Thanks so much for coming on. So give us a sense of what this company does, Merrick Garland's family's company, his daughter and son-in-law's company.
Well, what's such a national scandal is that, in fact, just as you said, Tucker, Merrick Garland went from being a top prosecutor to being a protector of this phenomena that we call woke industrial complex. Panorama Education is just one tip of the iceberg of this multi-million-dollar industry. What this company does is a screener. They call it a social and emotional screener. And what they are basically doing, not basically, what they are doing is data mining our children. They are asking children from Hawaii to Maine what about their sexuality, their gender, and they're also asking these questions of their parents. So what we did is we filed Freedom of Information Act requests across the country, and we ended up quantifying $20 million of contracts from companies around the school systems, and this is a scandal that everybody needs to pay attention to.
Wait a second. I mean, if I walked up to a school kid in a public park and started asking sex questions, I get beaten with a 2x4 and arrested, rightly so. How do they get away with asking sex questions of other people's children?
Oh, it's just a scandal, Tucker. So what has happened is that Merrick Garland's son-in-law, a young man, joined up with another young man at Yale University, and they came up with this idea that they were going to do psychometrics on our students in order to improve their academics performance. Yeah, right. There's no evidence base that this actually is effective. But what has happened is it's become a Trojan horse. So you all know this book. It's this critical race theory book. They say that it's taught in law schools, right? But somehow we now have this book called A is for Activist. And what has happened is they use these surveys and they use these multi-million-dollar contracts in order to bring in consultants that bring in the very divisive ideas of critical race theory, this thing called gender theory now, queer theory, and this is how they're radicalizing and indoctrinating our kids. It's scandalous that our chief prosecutor for this country is now running interference for the woke industrial complex. It's really a national
It's beyond
scandal.
belief. And with coordination from the National Association of School Boards, this whole thing is so corrupt. Yeah. It's actually shocking. Asra Nomani, I appreciate your coming on tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we invite everybody to send us your tips to Parents Defending Education. We're looking forward to finding whatever's going on in your school district. Thank you.
Thank you for that.